I'm Chip.
Hey, good morning. I'm Steve from sunny Florida.
I'm Ben.
And this is
Chip's
Chip's
Garage.
Hey, today we got a special guest, as you can see with us. This is one of Steve's buddies, and he has got a super cool car.
Beautiful.
A lot of you are going to like.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and Steve, I'm going to let you talk about it talk about him for a
I
minute.
saw it at a gas station one day, and my wife says, "Oh no, not another car guy." I said, "No, please, honey, please, honey, give me 5 minutes." She goes, "I know. Let me take my tablet out. It's going to be about 30 minutes."
Not that your wives
Yeah.
do that, right?
I know,
just us.
But he's just like us, car guy, man. He's just pure car guy.
Actually, we were able to speak before the video, obviously, and he's super knowledgeable, and especially on his car he's going to talk about today.
And Camaros.
Yeah. So, you let the cat out of the bag there a little bit.
I'm sorry,
seen
but,
it
you know,
yet.
that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll give him a little sneak.
We're excited.
Yeah,
We're
we
excited.
go, yeah.
But he's very knowledgeable. So any of you GM Camaro guys, you're going to really dig this morning. So I think we go. Let's go in and let's see what's going on.
You always have a great garage. I just want to hang out here.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, and oh my God, you got the air on today.
We always say it when we come in, but how can you not like it, Ben? How can you not like walking into this every
Which
day?
stall you want to be buried in, man? Because I got that stall with the coupons.
Everything is really just where I need it to be. Got a refrigerator, a TV, and air conditioning garage for all the cars, and I'm good.
There you go.
Yeah.
And hey, by the way, just a little update on the news. We're getting a 4-post lift this week. And we'll actually talk about the difference between the 2-post
we
and
can do that,
4-post one day. But man, let's get to this car.
We're really going along. I mean, our subscribers are just coming in like left and right.
Yeah, you guys, we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Please remember at the end to like and subscribe to our channel if you like it.
I tell you, we're going to SEMA and sign right next to Jay Leno.
Yeah, we're hoping to.
Come along, aren't you, SEMA? All right.
Yeah, SEMA bound. So anyway, let's take a look at this beautiful car. And Ben, we're actually going to let you just take over, tell us the year and everything here.
This is a 68 Camaro. It's an early car. It was built in September of '67. So there's some early things that are on the car that weren't necessarily done later on in the model year. It's a day 2 car, so even though it's extremely original, the car has a lot of period correct day 2 additions to it, hot rod stuff.
Yeah, if I can jump in, what do you mean by day 2?
So you went out and you bought this car, for $3,500 or $2,500 if you got a really good deal at the dealership, and then you wanted to go play with it at the track, or you wanted to jack it up or do something like that, because that's what everybody did back in the late 60s and in the 70s, all the way into the 80s, really. So you went to junkyards and places to swap meets, and you bought parts and you added them to the car. So this car here has everything on it from that era that you would have done to kind of hot rod it up.
Well, when I was growing up, guys would come back from Vietnam back in the 70s, and what you were just saying. This was actually a 327 car, this here. But a lot of guys would take 6-cylinder cars and get the 6-cylinder insurance and put in the big blocks in.
Exactly.
Hopping them up. And they would put everything, the Kragers, the traction bars, the vertigate shifter, stuff like that.
Exactly.
So you did a lot of what, like I do, and you guys that follow know, I like doing the same thing. I like making them sort of hot rod period correct.
Right. And you make it to your own.
Yeah. And we talk about that all the time. We're going to say it again because, and we talked about it earlier, don't bust on people's cars based on what they want. It's their cars. On your car, do it the way you want, man. I'm telling you, that's the key, right? However you see it and envision it, what turns you on, that's the way you should do your car.
You always see a stripe up front, but that was an option. It was an option. Hideaway lights were an option.
Yeah, the D92 stripe was an option. I had thought about adding the stripe to it. It's a bumblebee for this early of the car. Later in '68, it would have went down the side.
Right.
Okay.
That was the hockey
like a hockey stick, right?
stick.
And but for early '68 and '67, it was a bumblebee.
Like mine.
And you could have got that on a plain Jane. You could just order that stripe. It didn't have to be an SS or a Rally Sport.
Probably back then it was like $36 maybe.
Yeah, probably not even that.
Well, and the point again back then was you could order options. You could order cars the way you wanted, as opposed to today you pretty much whatever's on the showroom floor.
I got a story.
But back then you get to check off whatever you wanted. So like he's saying, you could get that stripe on a plain Jane 6-cylinder. Go for it. Go for it.
You know me and my story.
Go for it.
You ever heard about that years ago? A little old lady that went in a dealership and bought a cheap 6-cylinder '69 Camaro. She checked everything off and got the Z28, dual quad, and all that. And she didn't know what she bought, and she came home. And then years later, they found it. You heard about those stories before, yeah. You know, it could happen though.
It absolutely.
She didn't know what she was
happened.
ordering. She just kept checking everything out.
This car I found up in Elbow Lake, Minnesota. It was in a shed on a corporate farm. I have documentation. People say, "Oh, I got a barn find." Well, okay, show me. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one, it took 7 hours to extract the car.
Wow.
And it had been in there for over 35 years.
Right.
Chicken coop.
No, mice coop.
mice
Mice were living in it.
Ricky the Rat.
Wow.
Terrible, very bad.
Yeah.
And it took some time, but actually got this car running and able to drive. And
Yeah.
I had it shipped down from there on a transport, dropped it at the Winn-Dixie Plaza down the road from my house because there was no way they were getting a semi down my street.
Yeah.
And I dropped it there. I took it over to a friend of mine's house. We looked at it a little bit more. I put gas in and I drove it 120 miles the next day.
Wow.
After 35 years of sitting. And then after that, I took it apart.
Well, why
Let's
don't you
talk about
why don't you take us around the car and through the interior, and then we'll end back up on the motor, but just to show everything.
You know, every motorhead loved the Kragers.
Yeah. These are original Kragers. They're from 1970. If you get in closer, you'll see that they have a kind of a haze inside here. That's because when they were made, they really didn't chrome them very well in that center, and that's just to show you that it's correct. I had them re-chromed and I replicated that finish. The color of the car is called Sequoia Green. It's a 1 year only color, and it was only for early cars. It was a kind of a special color, and they did away with it, and then they came out with Rally Green. It took a lot of effort to make that color happen. We actually took a sample of the original lacquer paint and had it replicated. So this is the exact color that this car had on it when it went down the assembly line, and it's a little bit more poppy because it's a two-stage, it's not lacquer, but this is the color.
You know,
I never seen this color before, and I love it. It almost looks like a grayish green.
That's what it
doesn't
looks like, gray. If it's dark out, it looks like black. There's
it's
a metallic in
gorgeous.
it that makes it pop a little
and
gold.
I think if you put a
It's
black
super-
or a white stripe on it, it would take away
It's
from the whole
super
car.
tricky for the air, for the time.
Right.
The tires are original. They're from 1973. They're original Bias-Ply tires.
That is crazy.
Yep.
So how old are those tires?
1973. They're over 50,
Unbelievable.
they're over 50 years old.
Those tires over 50 years
That
old.
proves they did make something nice
Yeah.
back then.
And I want to say this again real quick, that he's big on period correct, really a hot rod, right?
Yeah.
But he's got some cool stuff he's getting ready to show us here. But again, he's got a theme. Have a theme to your car. And whatever you love, man, whatever turns you on. But you're going to find out as we go through this, he's like got period correct hot rod stuff like those Kragers, but there's some cool stuff going.
Yeah, the Kragers, the tires, they're a real deal. The traction bars
Yeah, the traction bars. You
are
can get
from
that.
Bill Thomas Chevrolet, Thomas and Nikki Chevrolet. They are real. They came. They're registered in the Supercar Registry.
Wow.
And you were saying how much are those worth for approximately?
A lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Like he was saying, those traction bars are almost worth as much as the car. But just saying they're worth a lot.
That's
of
an
money.
exaggeration, but it's pretty a lot.
We all exaggerate.
Right.
We
The
all
decals-
never.
Especially Steve.
never.
The stickers that are on the traction bars were actually sent to me from Nikki
Wow.
in Chicago. They sent them to me.
Yeah.
I sent them pictures of the traction bars. Even the hardware on there is over 50 years old. It's all the original hardware on the traction bars.
I like to
Unbelievable.
compliment on something too, okay, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Now, I have a 67 RS SS convertible. Now, the 67s didn't have, I don't have this because it's convertible, but 67s don't
Yeah,
have
the
this.
belt molding.
The belt
And
molding.
that's an option. That's all the stainless steel around the
Yeah,
wheel
stainless
arches
steel.
and everything. That was an option.
Look at this. Come on in here. I want to show you this.
And real quick while you're doing that, Steve, this is actual stainless steel.
Stainless steel.
Right?
Yes.
So,
All
it's
of it,
not
everything.
pot metal. It's not none of the crazy stuff.
The
It's stainless
spear,
steel.
Right. The spear on the bottom, that actually is aluminum.
Oh, that's aluminum? Okay.
That is aluminum.
Okay.
But
Wow.
the rest of the trim
Right,
is stainless
stainless
steel.
steel.
This here, when's the last time you've seen stainless wiper blades?
I
I mean,
know.
come on.
And the
plastic.
blades are actually original Tricos.
Original
Really?
They're 50 years old.
Wow.
And, listen, this is over 50 years old and it
Crazy.
still looks beautiful.
The car is like museum crazy.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, again, notice how much attention he pays to even the wiper blades themselves. Right.
And most of what you see on this car is what was found on this car in that shed.
Wow.
With the exception of the hood, I added the hood, but it is a
Very correct.
well, it's state code correct. It's not an aftermarket. It is a real General Motors hood.
Wow.
I added the spoilers. They are General Motors spoilers. Even the front spoiler on this car is an original, off the assembly line spoiler. It's not an aftermarket spoiler. You'll see there's a wave in that spoiler, and that wave will let you know that that's not a reproduction spoiler.
Now, you were talking about, and tell the difference, this as opposed to the ice cube trays and
On
why.
an early SS car, which this car is not SS, but in an early SS car, they were small block 350. It would have this vent on the hood. Whereas if you ordered the big block SS, you got the ice cube trays. Later on,
like
the
square.
square one. Later on in the production year, they went all to ice cube trays, everything. So again, I stayed with the time of the car because it's such an early car. That's why I kept with the vents.
And did you hear that they wanted to try and make those functional?
Oh yeah, but it never really worked out. And the headlights are original. They're over 50 years old. They're T3.
These are original. Would you see a triangle T3?
Yeah. Well, they do make a reproduction, but these are the real deal.
They're real deal.
The grill took a tremendous effort to restore.
Would you like to see under the hood?
Sure. It's over 50. I got about 30 hours in the grill.
30 hours.
Yeah.
Get a close look here at the grill because it is awesome. And you'll see they did some very cool stuff back in the day, the detail as opposed to cars nowadays.
What I did was I fixed everything. So all this is still original paint.
Nice.
And all this trim is still original. Even the bulbs that are actually behind it are still the ones that came
Unbelievable.
with the car. But I had to do a lot of plastic welding because the egg crate was kind of cracked here and there.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of work.
And what is, again, we spoke about how you would buy a car like this because, a family guy couldn't afford an SS or a 396. So he went to the junkyard and bought a different intake, or you went down with your buddy and got a different car. Right. Look at the battery. Check the battery out. Bring this over here.
Yeah. So
look at that.
Yeah. The intake
Delco
manifold.
eye.
Yeah, you got the eye and all that crap. The intake manifold is 1966 Corvette. The chrome air cleaner and valve covers are original from the Z28. Even this sticker is not something you would buy from year one or anything. That is an actual real General Motors sticker for the displacement.
Right. Tell us about the heads real quick.
The heads are fueling heads. They're
so right down here, if you'll see down here, see the double humps?
Yeah, the double hump. That's a 202 intake and 160 exhaust. They're 3 days date code correct to the engine, but they are not the original heads to the motor.
Unbelievable.
This engine was a 210 horsepower engine. Hopped up.
Again, it's something that you would just play and put parts on back then. And, I got a story. Oh, you know me and my story. Come on over here. Come on over here. This was a recall right here. Actually, they had a recall because they had motor mounts that would separate. So what would happen is they were separating and cock the engine sideways. Well, when I first got my Camaro in '82, my uncle never went for that recall for this here. So I was showing off one day and I hit the throttle wide open right towards the palm tree. I had to shift to second gear and shut it down and go sideways.
Yeah. My
buddy's fingerprints, I think, are still in the dash.
Because when those would break, and I want you to come here and look at this again.
Right
when they would break, the throttle, because it's a solid, it would stick on wide open. But look right here, I wanted you to see. So they put a bracket, and they basically just put a cable right around your to your control arm, and that's all it was. And a lot of you guys and gals will remember. We used to chain our motors down.
Chain them.
So sort of the same idea, but it's actually an actual recall.
Yeah, it's actually a recall.
So show us some more about it. This is so
original
cool.
Radiator cap. I fixed it. It has the different. It's backwards. This AC Delco should be here, and the 15 pounds should be here. But this is actually an assembly line radiator cap.
But mistake, right? They
but
made a mistake.
But an actual mistake. All the phosphate finishing we did in house, did it ourselves. I restored every bit of this car. The only thing I did not do was the paint work and body work, but every bit that you see on this thing, the motor, transmission, rear end, all the bracketry, all this stuff, the frame, everything, we did ourselves.
You know, funny, Ben, I got my radiator. I went to go replace it, and the guy said, "I'll get you another one." I said, "No, I want my original radiator." Right. being a 4-speed, just like you don't have the nipple sticking out.
No,
for
not for
automatic.
that.
No,
and
you
this
want
is
that.
actually out of an air conditioning car, this radiator. It's from 1968. It came out of another 68
Wow.
Sequoia green car, believe it or not. But it was for air conditioning, and I wanted to put the larger one in it because of Florida.
Exactly. Yeah. And just so you know, cars with air conditioners had bigger radiators. But I want to point these out too because you don't see these very much. And these are the original style, correct?
What do they call them?
Yeah.
Stand up, stand clamp.
Yeah. Yeah. Now notice also that it's a manual brake, manual steering car.
And that's a 1 year only master cylinder too for manual disc.
So manual disc, 1 year only, right here.
Only.
Yeah. So.
And it is an original master.
And it's the first year for PCV.
Oh yeah. Now, Steve, tell them what.
Second year, isn't it? Second year, I think. Second year. But mine had the canister inside the intake. This here is a little bit different.
Right.
68.
But explain what a PVC valve is, because a lot of people wouldn't know nowadays.
Positive crank ventilation, you absolutely need it to get all the pressures out of the lower end. If not, it's going to build up pressures,
Right.
and you're going to have leaks everywhere.
So it allows the pressure basically from the bottom end to come out the top of the motor, and it
For
empties
emissions.
into the
For
carburetor,
emissions.
and it empties into the carburetor.
Yeah.
So it just
Now-
relieves the pressure. Therefore, you don't have oil leaks and different things because of that.
My old Mercury, the flathead we did before, had a downdraft tube, and it was causing pollution where all the blow-by would come out and just run out.
Right.
So now they've cleaned it up and moved
Well,
on.
supposedly. but-
Yeah.
Real quick, as he pulls us over, listen to that sound.
Oh my God.
That's the
I
old
heard
buzzer.
that. I could not believe it.
But get a look at this real quick, close to this, because very cool the way they did emblem
Oh yeah, the
spec
flags. Turbojet. Oh.
there. Yeah, turbojet.
Yeah, that I actually had made, and they never made that emblem, General Motors, and I went ahead and I had it made because I thought it was really cool and something that General Motors would have done.
Yeah,
I hand painted
yeah.
the
The
flag.
V is a little bit wider, isn't it?
So cool.
Oh, and it's turbojet instead of turbo fire.
Oh, yeah.
Turbo fire would be big block. So
Yeah,
I didn't-
yeah,
I didn't
that's
try
right.
to
Yep,
pose
yep,
anything
So
weird.
if
All
you
that stuff
caught
we
that,
forget.
turbojet, small block,
Right.
turbo fire, big
Big
block.
block, yep.
That's good to
And,
know.
that's some of the stuff you forget.
Yeah.
We're running out of time,
Yeah,
guys. Let's take a look at the interior real quick here. Go
It
ahead.
is the original interior. It's houndstooth. It's
Oh,
correct to
my
the
God.
car.
So they call it houndstooth because of
Houndstooth.
this inlay here. A lot of you don't know that. Some of you do. Go ahead, Ben.
Original 4-speed. It's a Hurst. The shifter was installed by the dealership when the car was new, and you can tell by the big lettering on the side of the shifter and the yellowed shift ball that it is, from the 60s. It's got a
Right.
Stewart Warner tachometer in it.
Get that dashboard.
Yeah, it's transistorized. That's all the original dash components are still there. The original radio.
And Ben, you can relate. You can get an SS without gauges.
Yes, that's true.
You can get them with gauges, without gauges.
Well-
you can get this car with a 327 with gauges, without gauges.
Right.
It's
Again,
just
you
a big
had
deal
all
how
the
you ordered it.
Yeah, you had all the options.
Right, right.
Something cool to notice real quick is the steering wheel, of course.
Right, that's an original wheel.
Yeah.
It's a second.
Get a good.
Rosewood, is that correct?
No, it is. Now you said it. Now I can't.
Yeah,
Rosewood was actually they did
but
them too.
very cool. Again, you
Yeah,
see the
that's a
insignia.
67 Corvette steering wheel and horn button.
Yeah,
And it looks just
very
like the
cool.
side.
Yeah.
So
Very
let's go around
cool.
back.
It
and show-
originally had a deluxe wheel in it, but it was so badly gone I couldn't restore it. So I went with the next best deluxe wheel, which was the simulated wood wheel that you could get.
Go back here, and this is another
Now,
option.
does this have is this an M21?
This has a M20 in it.
M20 in it, okay.
Okay.
And does it have a 10 bolt or 12 bolt?
It has a 10 bolt,
10
but
bolt.
I build high performance gearboxes.
Okay,
This 10 bolt can do a wheel stand if I want to.
cool.
It will not
yeah,
come apart.
cool.
Oh,
What gears?
It's a 355.
Oh, that's a
355
great
gears. Perfect
Oh,
gear.
hey, look at this. This is where they used to screw them on there, drill the holes and screw them on
That
there.
is the original selling
Yeah.
dealer.
Yeah.
This paperwork from NCRS documents the dealership where the car came from, the year it was
So cool.
put out. This license plate was on the front of the car when it was parked. I still haven't going to put it back on the front of the
Yeah,
car.
cool.
That is cool.
As found. These gauges here, these are highly coveted. These are Sun
yeah,
Blue
the
lines.
old-
They're real.
Yeah, wow.
And they're what they call supercar gauges.
Yeah, wow.
And, people-
Notice also in here, I want you to see inside this trunk here,
Mm-hmm.
the stickers and how they did. And you can see we talked about the bumper jack last
What's a
time
bumper jack?
and how it works, but these are the.
Actually, I don't have it in here, but I do have the original jack restored. And I have an 8-track player we're going to be installing in the
Whoa, an 8-track player. Now wait a minute, they don't know.
Oh my God, look
so
at
an
that.
8-track player, there's a big cartridge, right? It's about what 6 or 8 inches long,
like that,
and it slips right
about
into
half
here,
inch, yeah.
and it's got a tape in it.
Yeah.
So
And then remember the days where it used to just the song would just go away and all the tape would come out, or it'd go clunk clunk right in the middle of
or just eat
Grand
it.
Funk Railroad, the best song.
I got that.
Well, hey guys, we're running out of time. We're gonna show you a little bit more about the car, but I know Ben's got some more stuff he's doing to this car, so
Yes,
we're actually gonna bring this car back.
Yeah, I have to straighten out the exhaust system. It's chambered and it's just not fitting quite right.
But we want to bring it back.
But we're gonna bring it back and even spend more time on it and take you for a ride in it later. But we're out of time today,
Yeah,
guys.
we're out of time, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
mean,
we got a little surprise at the end, don't we?
Well, we do, and you'll
Okay,
see
okay,
here.
okay.
Yeah, it's coming. So anyway, I'm Chip.
And I'm Steve.
And
This is Ben.
This is Chip's Garage.
Hey, look at Chip's Garage. Yeah.